session. Let me first introduce to you our speaker for this track, Mr. Frank Yuan. Mr. Frank Yuan is President and CTO of DBApp Security Incorporated. He is a frequent speaker in many security conferences, including US Black Hat and DEF CON. His specialty spans from network layer to application database layer security and compliance. He has been involved in this area for the last 10 years and possesses hands-on ethical hacking experience with different web application and databases. He holds Master of Science degree in Computer Engineering from the San Jose State University, and today he'll be presenting to us a paper on advanced web application and database threat analysis with Matrix AI. So ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Mr. Frank Yuan.
Thank you, man. So, thank you, everyone. I think we'll do a little bit of hurry up. Sometimes lapse a little bit. So, already let me introduce. So right now we have basically the development center in the US and also have one in China. Today we will go through a few topics, including the web application threats and also especially some of the secret injection and the cross-site scripting analysis, and also look through a few evasion techniques, some Oracle-specific attacks, and also we'll look at the matrix array in the end for the demo. So, as you probably know, right now the top one attack vector is not the buffer overflow anymore. From the ISA this year, the data has been changed to the web application attack. And the number one in the statistics is the cross-site scripting, and then the secret injection. But probably from the disaster-wide, secret injection should be the number one, and the cross-site scripting should be the number two. Here is the metric data on the top 10. I won't go through them one by one. So one thing I will try to point out again is that the network firewall and all the IDS is probably do nothing help in this attack vector. Later on we will come through in this part, and the loss is much more than what you can imagine. Because the reason is very simple, because all your firewall is open, probably AD, 443, DNS, all these traffics, and all these attack we mentioned above is just going through this tunnel, just as exactly legitimate traffic. So there's nothing can stop here, and the problem for IDS and IPS is that they cannot really do the deep analysis, especially that even though they can do the signature-based analysis will not really work very well in this case. So before we come to more details, let's look at one example. Here's one of the cross-site scripting in one of the bank. And you can see that you can easily embed a form inside this bank the web page, which you can easily lead to all the phishing attack and other attack, whatever you can imagine. So this is just the one example, but today I want to go through the very basic stuff for the like what is cross-site scripting and what is secret injection. I would expecting people here would know this part, but if you don't, just raise your hand and we can talk a little bit more. So, and for a secret injection part, I mean, probably everyone here has already heard these words so many times. But from the last probably 8 months, when we do the penetration testing and a few defending and processing for many enterprise, we found that the trend is obviously for this year is the SIG injection plus ANI and the rootkit in this part. And the funny thing is that yesterday I read one of the news that there was a statistic saying that in all the world, among those hosted hosts, the host that has been attacked and become the chicken host, among all these hosts, China has been hosted #1. So this is really a shame, but of course, this also gives a very obvious sign that this issue has been becoming more and more serious. Of course, US, Russia, and Europe has been the second to the third and fourth. So the general technical of the SIG injection, which pretty much you can inject the things to the parameters that leads the application to do the behavior that you will expecting. There are different types, of course, char-based, num-based, union, search, arrow-based. I have to point out there's many deviations of this attack that I cannot really do the iteration here. But of course, if you're interested, we can discuss afterwards. There are so many evasion and so many deviation of the SIG injection and cross-site scripting that really makes many simple protection software is also useless. So later on we will cover that as well. Specific database, there's many different types of database that you probably use in your DMZ or corporate network, like Oracle, SQL Server, probably among the most popular, MySQL, DB2, Access, Sybase. Sybase is kind of close to SQL Server as well, and Informax. So the evasion part, historical network layer evasion still apply, but not so much. IP fragmentation and TCP segmentation, I won't cover this very much, but really the application layer challenge will be much more in this case. So for example, you can do simple evasion, try to evade some of the simple signature-based detection. Also, you can have using the function to avoid the obvious like constant equals to constant, this kind of attack. And then you also can do the comments insertion in this case to kind of to avoid the string manipulation, and also you can do many of the encoding. And also one thing I want to point out is that some of the encoding that you can combine together, which leads to much more difficult for the detection wide to defense. One thing is always true is that attack always is relatively easier than the defend part. This is pretty much always true, because attack you only need to find one hole, while defend you need to be 100% sure. So this is not really a very fair game in this case, but this is just the fact afterwards. So we have, for example, we have tried many cases. We have during our penetration testing, we have found that some of the websites using some kind of piece of software that will do the filtering that probably people here are known of. So this kind of software will filter out, try to filter out, for example, the single quote or some of the special characters. But this kind of filtering, it's really hard to do it perfectly, because, like I said, different encoding techniques and also combined with the comment insertion will easily can lead to the evasion in backend. For example, just with the single quote, you can use in a different encoding and a combination of encoding. And sometimes you can using the other things instead of a single quote to do the same effect. So it's really hard, again, it's really hard to defend it in the full dimension. So there's also many vendor-specific application attack and defense that we need to be aware of. For example, as we just talked, Oracle-specific, there's many vectors like client injection, rootkits, vulnerable procedures, API, and privilege escalation, BS mode, of course, many of secret injection, cross-site scripting, and many of its own application or application server related and the component related vulnerabilities. Oracle also has many secret locations that will lead to many of the interests, like the user dollar, link dollar, all these things that has sensitive information that from a secret injection point of view that you want to try to gain, of course, in the first place. So multi-pure SQL is also another thing. This is not so new things for Oracle, but still many of the applications right now also try to make use of multi-pure SQL. So if it's a vulnerable version, then you pretty much can do everything that you want to do, especially like you create tables and inject the users, of course, updating the data. So many of WebDB, Portal, and HTML-DB, eBusiness Suite, you also try to using this part. So in this, you can pretty much have the simple overview of how this basic architecture will work. So it has the Apache in front and the multi-pure SQL, and then through the TNS listener to the backend database. So there's many bypass technology that is you can do to try to evade the simple detection of the multi-pure SQL attacks. For example, using the again encoding, Unicode, using the different kind of same meaning but different presentation for the end of words. So this is another example that gives just simply by the string comparison is really hard in this case for the defense. Another thing I will try to point out is that our research team also found out the ASP.NET has also some specific attacks that will lead to the path disclosure. So you probably know that the Microsoft MS-06033 has claimed to fix the bug for the ASP.NET 2.0, the path leaking mechanism. But we have found that even though it claimed to not affect .NET 1.1, we have found that with the certain manipulation that ASP.NET 1.1 is also very much vulnerable to the path leaking attack. And I don't believe this bug is fixed yet from what our up to now, what our observation is. So ASP.NET and the JSP probably is right now the most popular technology in the web, is being used on the website. And later on, we will also cover some of the general attacks as well. Another thing we kind of experienced in early this year is that we found the vulnerability, secret injection vulnerability in the VTAG CRM system. And